VERIFI dealer sales reporting. VERIFI is a New York dealer sales reporting system. VERIFI stands for Vehicle Electronic Reassignment Integrated Facility Inventory. That's VERIFI. VERIFI is a web-based system used by New York State licensed automobile dealers to track vehicle sales. And it replaced the old paper-based system of MV-450 forms and what were known as books of registry. VERIFI is mandatory for dealers to use. And I want to repeat that very important information. VERIFI is mandatory for New York dealers to use. VERIFI. So this records retail and wholesale transfers online. It's going to generate what's called a temporary certificate of registration. It also allows dealers to order paper MV50s books if needed and MV93 forms online. It's going to track dealer sales of motor vehicles, transfer of ownership of all the vehicles in your inventory. VERIFI features secure transactions, dealer-specific dashboards and reports, on-demand reports, and receipts. It has also extensive on-demand training if you need that, with a lot of video tutorials and user manuals as well. Now I want to show you how to register for VERIFI. You're going to go to register.verifyny.com. Once again, that's register.verifyny.com. And you're going to click on the Register Now button. And what you're going to need to do is review, sign, and submit your facility participation agreement. And on that agreement, you're going to need to have your facility ID. You're also going to have a valid email address and a valid phone number as well. So you want to make sure that you're completing this correctly. So make sure that information is in there, including your title. And then you're going to click on Create Account, and then you're going to have to view and sign your FPA. That's your facility participation agreement, like you see right there on your screen. So you will need to agree to the terms and conditions and click Submit. And now you will be able to get started and log in. So once you're registered, you can visit verifyny.com for all future transactions. So when you log in, I want to show you how to use VERIFI. The very first thing you want to do is add a vehicle. So when you've purchased your first vehicle to resell as a licensed New York motor vehicle dealer, you will need to add the vehicle to VERIFI, just like you see on the screen right now. So this is always going to show all of your active inventory, and when you've purchased your very first vehicle to sell, then you want to go ahead and click on Add Vehicle, like you see right here. And you're going to need to put the actual type of vehicle with a VIN number and things like this. And that will actually add that vehicle to your VERIFI account. So that's the very first thing that you want to do when you purchase your very first vehicle, is add it to VERIFI. Now, here are some of your other items and descriptions. There's a big list of them there that just kind of tell you exactly what goes into every single one of those boxes on that screen that I just showed you here just a moment ago. So it's going to be pretty self-explanatory. Once you log in and create your account, it's going to be extremely easy, and you'll always be able to see your registration details. And I want you to be aware, they do charge you a small fee, and that's how they make money. Here's your VERIFI fees, because you are charged a minimal fee to use VERIFI. The EM50 fee is $5, and there's a $1.93 transaction fee. So the total payment for the MV50 fee is $6.93, and that can change by the time that you're actually viewing this video. So the payment screen will display the funds that are withdrawn from your VERIFI account, and they're also called Sapphire credits. So Sapphire credits have been issued to you by the DMV. So you can easily select Apply for Sapphire credits at any time to pay for your EMV50 credits, and it's all going to be automated once you get in there. So just once again, that shows you your fees that you see right there. So the VERIFI system does make a little bit of money every single time that you generate what's called the MV54 when you actually resell that vehicle. So do please keep that in mind. It's also going to keep a big record of all the sales that you have generated. So it's a very easy to use system that's really going to show you the names of the customers that you have sold vehicles to. And a great thing about it is it's going to print up all of your automatic paperwork. So right here, this is what's called the customer copy of your EMV-50, which is generated automatically by VERIFI when you have sold the vehicle. The MV50 is generated by VERIFI, and you need to make at least one copy of the EMV50 that will ultimately go through the purchaser, and it also needs to be signed by both the dealer and the purchaser, and it's always recommended to keep a copy as well. I strongly encourage you to always make 2 copies of every single document. One's going to go to the customer, and one's going to go into your records, which sometimes we call the deal jacket. Now I want to show you a copy of your temporary certificate of registration. And don't worry, all these documents are going to be generated for you automatically by VERIFI. So you don't really have to keep a big list of everything. It's going to be generated automatically. So this is what's called your temporary certificate of registration that will be automatically generated by VERIFI when you sell a vehicle. A copy of the temporary certificate of registration is generated by VERIFI. You're going to cut along these dotted lines. I'll show you here in just a second. And then you're going to attach it to the inside left windshield of the purchaser's vehicle. Now, don't make the mistake of putting this on the rear license plate frame. I've seen a lot of dealers do this. So that's not allowed in the state of New York. You're actually required to put a copy of the TCR right in the inside windshield, the inside left windshield of the purchaser's vehicle, just like you see right now. Make sure it doesn't block the driver's view. It does not go on the license plate. It goes on the front left inside of the windshield. So here you can see the temporary certificate of registration must be applied to that vehicle. And other documentation is going to include your transaction receipt that you're going to see right here. And VERIFI automatically generates what's called a title application for your customer as well. So it's going to make it as easy as possible for your customer to title that vehicle. Here you see the second page of the title application. I also want you to be aware that if you really do not want to use the VERIFI system, there are a couple of minor exemptions that you might want to be aware of, but I really do want you to plan on using this system, and it actually is going to expedite everything that you do. But there are a small handful of VERIFI exempt dealers. Now, first of all, there's got to be some reason for you to become exempt. You must be a DMV approved VERIFI exempt dealer, and in that case, then you can complete the paper MV forms instead of doing everything on VERIFI. But you would also have to allow 2 to 3 weeks for processing and delivery, and it really holds up the transaction for the customer as well. So if you are selling fewer than 10 vehicles per year, or if you have 2 or fewer dealer demos or plates, there's a chance you can not be enrolled in VERIFI. So that's something to keep in mind. But if you have not had a license suspended or revoked, there's a possibility that you can become an exempt dealer. Okay, but I'm going to really recommend that you just go ahead and plan on using VERIFI. You're going to find out that it's much simpler, much quicker, and I think this is for a handful of folks that might not be comfortable with internet access and things like that. I do predict there is going to be a day that there will not be any exempt dealer. So do plan on using VERIFI. I want to show you some of the documents that it's also going to print up. Here's your MV50 retail wholesale order form. If you ever do need those forms to receive a book of secure paper certificates of sale, which are your MV50s or MV50W. The MV50W is a wholesale transaction. You must return a completely used book to the DMV. And you can use the VERIFI book return option to start a return and print a mailing label and cover sheet if you need to return those books. And after you return a completely used book, you can order new certificates using the book order option in VERIFI. You can print the cover sheet and include it with your return form. So, you are encouraged to pay for secure paper certificates of sale with your VERIFI withdrawn account or Sapphire credits, and those are directly from the DMV. Payment by check increases DMV processing time and delays the fulfillment of your order. But you can send your used book of certificates with cover sheets to the address that I'm going to show you right here. That's going to be the Bureau of Consumer and Facility Services Issuance Unit in Albany, or there's also an express address for you as well. I want you to be aware, if you have any questions about VERIFI, you're going to find some really helpful technical support. You can call the VERIFI Help Desk at 1-833-VERIFI-NY. That's 833-837-4346. Or you can email them at register@verifyny.com. I also want you to be aware to make the operation of your New York dealership as easy as possible. A good software program will do everything that we're discussing in your New York dealer license course. A software program I've been using is called Dealer Center. It actually integrates with VERIFI. Now, the great thing about Dealer Center, it'll get loans approved and before the transaction takes place. So when you and a customer are negotiating or you've come up with a price, you can actually boot up discountdealercenter.com and it will get loans, or if you're doing buy here, pay here, you can get all the financing approved, and then automatically with one button, you can log right into VERIFI. So it basically acts as one bit of software for you. And Discount Dealer Center has a huge New York dealer document library, completes all your transaction documents for you as well. So I strongly encourage you to consider using a good dealer management software program when you're running your dealership. DiscountDealerCenter.com will allow you a 30-day free trial and a $250 credit. If you use that exact website and fill out the form there, then that will definitely help you on your way. But I strongly encourage, whether you are an exempt dealer or not, I still strongly encourage you to use VERIFI when you're doing your transactions. And a great way to use that, which I believe is really going to simplify the whole process, is by using a good dealer management software program like DiscountDealerCenter.com. I hope you're finding this information very helpful.